Welcome back to the Mailrite Show, ladies and gentlemen. It's episode number 330, and I am super excited to welcome Amber and Brett to the Mailrite podcast. Brett and I have been business associates partners for a while, and Amber and he are partnered up on many different endeavors, including one that we're going to talk about on today's show, which is not one, but two YouTube channels. Which and let me see if I'm getting this right. So after many years of being in a corporate environment, you moved into real estate. Your brother was already in real estate. That's Brett. And you started to work together. One of the things you worked together of many strategies to get your career started in real estate was YouTube. Did I kind of get that right a little bit?
You nailed it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Perfect. So what we're going to talk about is, without any further ado, is one more time. So let's introduce everybody before we go any further. So I'm going to serve it up to Jonathan, who is my co-host. Jonathan, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the new users and listeners?
That's great, Robert. So I'm the joint founder of Mailrite. We build real estate semi or full custom websites for real estate agents on WordPress, which runs over a third of all websites on the internet. Plus, we got a suite of marketing digital tools that help agents get quality leads. Back over to you, Robert.
All right. And so Amber, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we're going to let Brett introduce himself, and then we'll serve the question up to you.
Sure. I'm Amber Moore, native Houstonian. My license hangs at RE/MAX Fine Properties alongside Brett. We are with the largest RE/MAX office, most successful one, I would say, in all of Texas. So thanks.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, Brett, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to all the listeners and viewers?
Yeah, I'm Brett Wallace with RE/MAX Fine Properties with my sister, Amber Moore. Been doing this since 2008. And Robert, I'm just thankful for you and all the help you've given me the last few years navigating this crazy and wild market. It's definitely ever changing, and you gotta get with content. You gotta accept the all the website stuff, and you gotta be online and get out of your comfort zone. So thank you for all your help, and hopefully Amber and I can extrapolate some of the helpful things that we've gone through and some of the things that we have figured out that didn't work. But yeah, that's us. We're just trying to be better real estate agents each day.
Right.
Awesome. So big YouTube journey for you two. Big YouTube journey. Started off with Brett and his own individual channel, turned into an even more sophisticated jump into another channel, which he partners with you on, Amber, right? It's called Houston Local Guides. Do I remember that correctly?
Yep, Houston Local Guide. That's the one.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And so why don't you, so Brett, my mind was a little wired towards an interview with Amber because I didn't realize you were going to be on the show today. Super excited that you're here, but let me get my couple of questions out for Amber that I already had like brain beamed inside my head that were like, hey, we're going to talk about this stuff with Amber. So you're brand new into real estate. Your crazy brother is sitting here going, let's go on YouTube. And you're like, all right, yeah, let's do that. Explain how that journey has worked. And also, if you don't mind, when you're explaining it, not only explain like what you did, but like maybe any like a defeat that you had, something that made you really question your decision, if indeed that happened. And then maybe something that maybe also describe for the audience what success started to look like, because I know a lot of the audience is trying to get started in YouTube and they don't even have an understanding of what success starts to look like. So hit us, Amber.
Oh, perfect. So yeah, the end of 2020, I lost my dream corporate job and it was heartbreaking. And I had actually had an active real estate license for many, many years. I just didn't have the guts to go out and do it because being in real estate, being commission only is very scary. And then I had been watching Brett's success all of these years and I just so admired him. And so I was really at a crossroads and he's like, we need to do this thing. And YouTube is the future. I mean, he convinced me of this. And honestly, I would not have done this without him. And I have to say, before I only had LinkedIn, I was not even on social media. I didn't even know what a hashtag was. Okay. I'm just being really honest. So part of what we were talking about is being vulnerable and putting yourself out there and doing something different, maybe that you never thought you would do. If you had told me 2 years ago that I would be doing a video shoot and, out every week with Brett and having my husband do all the videography. I mean, I would have told you you're crazy. There's no way. Right. So
Right.
Brett believed in this so much, and he had seen some success in others that when I do something, I go all in. I'm 100%. Right. So I was like, okay, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. So I actually just kind of took the leap of faith, and I went out, and my husband did a video just of me, for me to even see, okay, can I do this? Can I get in front of the camera? How do I feel doing this? And I'm like, okay, it turned out okay. And my husband was gracious enough to kind of teach himself editing in a week. I mean, it was crazy. So I was like, I feel like we have all the pieces here, right? Because Brett and I together, I would say the one thing that we realized is it's easier to have a partner on a YouTube channel than carrying it all solo. That's way too much pressure, right? Because Brett and I really have unique strengths, and we also have our own weaknesses, and we balance each other out. And so he saw kind of what I did out of the gate, and then we just kind of immersed ourselves with educating ourselves about YouTube and being on TubeBuddy and learning keywords. And part of my background in corporate America was very much metadata driven, keyword focused, like SEO, and all of these things were not foreign to me. So I basically took everything I had learned in prior years and then started applying it to YouTube. So I'm kind of a nerd and part creative. I think I'm like half left brain, half right brained. And then Brett and I just would start brainstorming. And I think that's really powerful when you have someone else to be a sounding board that you can run ideas by and be like, that's stupid, or that's great, or you know what I mean? Let's just see how this goes. And so, I mean, Brett, actually, you came up with the name Houston Local Guide, right? I remember us tossing around ideas, and Brett, I think it's brilliant.
Don't put that on me.
No, I mean, it's genius. So yeah, we started doing a few videos, and then you think, okay, I'm out there. The whole world's going to find me, right? This is going to be just overnight success. Not that I was that unrealistic, but you set goals, right? And you're like, okay, let's get to 100 subscribers. Brett, how long did it take us to get, we were just looking at our,
I think like 43 or 49 days.
You're like, man.
Or no. It was like 60 something days for the first 100.
I mean, honestly, I'll just be honest with you. I thought it would be a faster trajectory to get to 100 subscribers. And that's when a couple people were telling us like, okay, y'all are cute, y'all are funny, but you're only your mom's gonna watch it, right? And I was like, oh my God, this is so much work.
So hold on.
Yeah.
So hold on. Let's pause right there, because that's the first part of the question that I asked you, which was, hey, did you have a defeat? So you show these videos to some people. You've left this huge corporate job, and I won't reveal all the details. I don't know, but that huge corporate job had a huge salary attached to it too.
Oh,
right?
It was my dream job, if I'm being totally honest.
Right. So you don't have that anymore. You're now out there with your brother on the streets of Houston shooting video, and somebody that you show it to goes, oh, you guys are cute. Right?
Exactly.
Okay. How were you feeling and thinking in that moment? What kept you going?
Oh my God. It was so discouraging and so defeating, because I am thinking like, I don't have a guaranteed paycheck coming up. I have no health benefits. I have no 401k. I mean, the reality of it all really set in. And I'm telling you, there are days, I'm not a crier, but I had moments of breaking down. And at the same time, in parallel, behind Brett's back, I was sending out resumes to other companies thinking, oh, resume, someone's going to call me. I'm going to do my thing. I love the interview process. I'm going to get back on this bandwagon and keep going. Like I can say I tried the real estate thing, but maybe it just didn't work out for me. And no one called me back. And it's not because I didn't have a good resume, but I really feel truly that this is what I was meant to do in my life. And when everything just kind of redirects you in a certain path and it's undeniable, you're like, okay, God, I'm going to embrace it. And that's what I did. And I literally did not let those moments of defeat keep me down. And again, it's the power of just being positive, surrounding yourself around people like Brett, my husband, people that will support you, even when others are maybe being naysayers and going, oh yeah, your goals are a bit ambitious. We'll see how it goes. So there was, I will tell you, I did not make $1 for the first 4 months I was in real estate. So even continuing this, it was definitely a faith journey, and one that was very difficult for me, if I'm being truly honest.
Sure. Well, glad that you stuck up with it. So that's a struggle. That's the struggle. But now here we are. I also know that you're setting the world on fire. You might even be setting some records in terms of your production from what Brett's told me. So we know the first 4 months were brutal, that you're thinking about going back to the corporate job. So you start to see some success. When did that come? When did that start to happen for you, and where did it come from?
So I started getting a couple referrals here and there. And then Brett, I think our first call off of our YouTube channel probably came within like 6 months, I would say maybe 5-6 months. of us really being out there and doing this weekly, I would say, right? And I think Brett fielded the call.
Yeah.
You always want to get Brett on the phone. He's going to make you feel good when you call in. And so, and that's kind of the agreement we made. It's like, I do a lot of the content planning and posting and all that stuff. And then Brett's like, hey, the phone can, go to me, I'll take the phone calls and all of that. And so he's so good with people on the phone. And then it's like, it's always a surprise when people either get one of us and it's like, oh, wow, they feel like they know us already. And I feel like too, being out there for 5 or 6 months, people started getting a feel of who we are as individuals. And I feel like being relatable in this business is really important. And also just being truly genuine. Brett and I are not in this just to be like, hey, let's make $1. Yeah, transactions are important. But when you put people first and you do right by people and you're truly passionate about what you do and you're great at what you do, the success will follow. And that's really what started happening for us through this YouTube channel.
So you started getting calls. Brett's taking them. This is the Houston Local Guides channel.
Yes.
Now, Brett, now I'm going to involve you, but
Okay.
how are we doing on time? Do I have, do I
You
need to go to
got
break?
time for one more question. And
Okay. So it's not so much a question as a statement. Now, Brett, you had something that your sister didn't have, which is you already had another channel that at this point that we're talking about was consistently driving calls to you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
you knew it worked. You didn't have her gut wrenching despair on because you already had something that you were seeing that was working, right? So for you, this was no surprise. You were like, we just have to keep doing it. We just have to, right? Is that true? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I have to give thanks to you because I'd been doing some. My channel is more kind of like turn your iPhone around and talk to the camera lens.
Mhm.
It's not the high production, the end cards, the graphic, like the sizzle reel. It's not the production. It's just touring people in neighborhoods. I had a few videos already going on, but then when you showed me, you're like, hey, this is working for an agent in Oregon. Why don't you do this? Because you're so hyper local with your Fort Bend County website. I still get 1 to 2 calls a week off of my channel, and those people are like very thankful. And most of the comments are great about my Fort Bend, Texas real estate channel, but it's just it's like guerrilla videography. It's just like driving through doing the stuff that we talked about. But then the Houston Local Guide is more like a lifestyle. Obviously, people know we're real estate agents, but we're really trying to it really kind of caters to relocation people.
Yeah.
I think Amber, probably 80% of the people that call are from California, New York.
Yep.
We have some interstate reloads, and we have some Dubai clients. We have
Right.
people from halfway around the world that we're in constant contact with. We have an Air Force or an Army helicopter pilot that found us that just moved to Lake Conroe. We've been helping them for months, and we're close to finding them their dream home. But he was literally in Dubai. And called us, and we WhatsApp still. Like that's how we communicate.
I learned WhatsApp. That's a good point. Downloaded that app.
Yeah. So
hey, if you're you gotta do calls overseas with WhatsApp, guys.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
So basically, I took the Houston, my personal little small YouTube that was already getting success based on the strategies that you advised me on and that were working, and then we kind of looked at a lot of the channels and found some people that we didn't have to reinvent the wheel. But we kind of make the consistency of the actual videos, kind of like the format of the videos, and then being once a week. We at some point we'll get to twice a week, but we're holding on for dear life down here in this market.
Okay, so we're gonna go to break, and when we come back, I want to serve up one more question, then I'll let John take it away. I think he has another stream of information that he's talked to the both of you about, but I want to ask the one more question that I want to ask Brett is I do want you to differentiate and maybe do this collaboratively, differentiate the strategies, the one that because you already said, oh, hey, this is what I do on this channel, but I want to talk to you guys about the results that you're getting from the 2 different strategies, because it's 2 different things. High production, like using a partner, your husband, from what I understand, who's got a lot of talent at this, because I've watched your channel. And then doing a hyper local, just all I need is my phone. Let's drive around and make a piece of content kind of thing. All right, guys. We'll see everybody in a moment. We really appreciate you listening to the show. If you can do John and I a favor and hit the thumbs up button wherever you're watching us, leave a comment on Apple, iTunes. John, do you have anything you want to add here?
No, go to the break, Rob.
Okay, and we'll be right back. All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to episode number 330. We are sitting with Amber Moore and Brett Wallace of Keller Williams, and we are talking mostly about video. And of course, I'm here with my amazing co-host Jonathan Denwood as well. And we're right now going to talk about what the difference is between a high production value channel. They have two channels. They have one that Brett worked on and is super guerrilla marketing, as he said. You just take a phone, you drive around, you film some content. You need to do the research before you hit the areas, but really all you need in terms of equipment is just your phone and your car. And the other channel that they do is really high production value, like in screens and transitions. And to be honest, I don't even know all the stuff that you got going on in that second channel, Houston Local Guides. So since you've done both channels, I'm going to serve the question to you. Which of those two channels, explain what the difference in results are between the two channels, because you're getting calls on each. Do you feel like there's a difference in the result that you're getting? Not in the production, in the result.
Yes. I would have to most clearly kind of say that the Houston Local Guide channel, we do a lot of model home and inventory videos because people love watching beautiful homes. Mm-hmm. And it's one of our easier videos, but people just gobble those up, like just walking through on a gimbal with some nice music in the background. And, we put the floor plan, we put the builder name, and we say, hey, if you want to know where these homes are being built, reach out to us. We'll let you know inventory, dirt, we'll base prices, incentives. So like the Houston Local Guide channel, we're in communities and we try to target communities that have new construction going on. Where I am in Fort Bend County, in my guerrilla video type stuff and marketing is mainly in resale neighborhoods. Amber, you can let me know most of our Houston Local Guide activity and calls are new construction.
Yep.
That is the buzz. That is what people, so we really are trying to be in a lot of those new construction areas. We go out to neighborhoods that are being developed, like that are being bulldozed and the dirt is being like flattened and prepped. We go out there and put drones up and people are looking at sections being formed and curbs being cut. Mm-hmm. And it's just exciting because people don't usually see neighborhoods in that stage. So as soon as we hear of a new neighborhood, we're trying to be the source because there's a lot of buzz and people are looking for information. There's not just a ton out there. So we're like rolling with the punches. We're seeing what works. We're revisiting our greatest hits, our videos that really impact and get a good view count. We're not doing videos just for view count, but that's one of the few indicators, we're putting it out there into this vast space called the internet. And that's one of the metrics that we judge a video's acceptance of, by the viewers. So we don't just do the view count, but like looking at a very successful video, one has 10,000 or 11,000, we're going to try to emulate that video and give more of what people seem to be looking at. My videos, the neighborhood videos is mostly resale. But the calls I do get, they're like, thank you for showing us the amenity center. Thank you for showing us the pool, the gym, all driving through the neighborhood. We actually got a virtual tour from, halfway across the country. So we got to feel like we saw the neighborhood through you. So we do a lot of the same stuff, but the YouTube, the Houston Local Guide, we're really honing it in. And we have the consistency. Whereas my channel, I'll dump 14 videos to our team to optimize the zip code videos. Like I dump them over to you guys and they like release them every few days. But the Houston Local Guide is a consistency and we're really focused on honing, giving the people what they want. But I think the biggest difference is new construction on the Houston Local Guide channel is what keeps our phones and emails melting.
Let's talk about that just real briefly. Amber, this is you. How many calls are you getting now? Roughly, just average it out first. Let's say you started from 0, 4 months. It was nail biting. 6 months, you get your first call. Now, where are you?
I feel like we're getting at least a couple a week. Wouldn't you agree, Brett? Because he usually fields the phone call and I do emails. But I feel like more often than not, people just feel comfortable enough to pick up the phone and call us, which we love. So, Brett, I would say about 2 a week now. Two to three. Yeah.
We've gotten a family under contract the last 2 or 3 weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a $1.1 million Zoom call that we took yesterday. I took a call Monday in the driveway after filming Neighborhoods Monday. I got home at 6, answered it, was on the phone for 40 minutes, set up a Zoom call Wednesday morning with Amber, met the couple, very lovely people. They're super targeted. They saw our master plan video of Bridgeland. We did an interview, took down all the notes and sent them a lot of information back, and we're going to start touring soon. And their price point's 1 to 1.2 million.
Nice. So, okay. And Amber, I know that you're involved in the business. You know how I know you're involved in the business? Because I've been doing business with Brett for 26 months. In the first 18 of those 26 months, when I asked him what his conversion rate was, where his calls were coming from, his consistent answer was, I have no idea.
Oh, you better believe I have a spreadsheet for Houston
I
local.
have no idea. Now, ever since you got involved in the business, I can tell you this. I'm going to ask a question. The question is, do you get the same close ratio off the calls that come in off Houston local guides, which is about, for everybody listening, 20%. They close about 20% of the calls that they get. No, it's not. That's not it for local.
Way higher.
Way higher. So you close way higher than that. All right. So of these calls, what's way higher? Give me an example.
I'd say double. Oh, Amber's question.
So
go ahead.
40%.
That's fine. No, I would. We're over 50% close ratio from the time we actually talk to someone. It is extremely high. And we were actually just talking about the fact this is unprecedented, because I mean, the comments we're getting from people is that they're like YouTube junkies, right? They'll say, we have watched everybody. And the biggest compliment that Brett and I get, if we can toot our own horn for a minute, it really means a lot to us, is that they go, we just like you guys. The type of content you're delivering is so valuable and so relevant. And we can tell that you're really, again, going just back to being genuine. It goes a long way. So I have people that are like, yeah, we watched 5, 10, 15, 20 other people. They go, we knew exactly, that we were going to hire you the second we saw you guys, And so I feel like that is really in our favor too. Behind all the nerdy stuff we're doing behind the scenes on just the YouTube front. But so when people come to us, they're very serious. Like Brett said, they're targeted and they know they want to work with us. So that's
But I've got a question, Amber. People have been listening to this, and I'm putting it to you, Amber, because obviously you're a lady, and we have a lot of female listeners, and they're probably listening to this, Amber, and they're thinking, oh well, you got your brother, you got a team, you got your husband that helps you edit. I've got nobody, and I hear all these coaches, and I hear Jonathan and Robert saying get into video. I don't know where to start, and I haven't got any support. What would you say to a colleague that came to you that said they were interested, but they didn't know how they were going to do it? And do you think if you haven't got the kind of resources that you have, is it possible to still do video and get a result?
100%, because in fact, Brett and I do look at what other people are doing. And sometimes we'll go, wow, how does this person have, triple the amount of views that we do? And we're not trying to be all things to all people, right? There's more than enough work to go around. And we want to share in the success of others as well. But I was actually just watching a YouTube channel the other day. I could tell the realtor was just sitting at her desk, had an iPhone on the stand. And she just supplemented with some still photos that she went out and took. That's easy to do on your own. And it doesn't have to be this highly edited, produced thing to put yourself out there. I think it's going back to just being relatable. And are you serving up great content? That's the key thing. I would say that if you don't have the equipment and all this other stuff, I would say partner up with someone or invite someone on to be with you, because as I mentioned, it's a lot easier when you have someone to kind of have that banter with. It takes all the pressure off of you. And especially, I know not everyone is as comfortable in front of a camera. It can be intimidating. I totally understand that. So I think there's strength in numbers, but I would say partner up before you worry about having like a DSLR and all this other fancy equipment and getting a drone. I mean, yes, I am super blessed, but you don't have to have all of those things. And especially too, depending on the market you're in, I would say kind of look at what's going on in your market and find your own niche. And maybe there's a huge void.
I think and this is open to both of you. Mm-hmm. I think the other thing that a lot of agents that are listening to this, and we've had a few 2 to 3 other agents or that have had great success with video, but the feedback I get is, how do you manage doing the videos on a consistent basis and then fitting it into the madness of being a busy real estate agent? Because without consistency, this probably ain't going to work. But on the other hand, you've got a lot of balls to juggle. I'll put that to Brent. Have you got any insight about how you cope with that, Brent?
Brett.
Yeah, no, I think anybody that's proficient or kind of like gets high level at something, whether it's writing handwritten note cards or making phone calls, you time block. Amber is very good at scheduling. So, I mean, our first video, Amber, we did the 7 best master plan communities in Houston. It literally took her 2 weeks. We drove all around town, all these different locations. And now whenever we're doing this, we basically bunch up. Like we are like, oh, that's near here. We can get a model home tour there. We can fire up the drone here, get B-roll for this other video. We can do intros, outros. Like it's like logistically you bunch up and you block as much as you can together and knock as much out and get some stuff in queue. We do the model home tours and kind of keep it less editing, obviously. So, and people love those. That's a lot of bang for buck as far as like view count versus time on, we don't even go to those. Chris, our editor, Amber's, my brother-in-law. So we try to we have a buffer, because if you're struggling for content and you don't have a plan and you're like, we have to put out a video Saturday or Friday or whatever your weekly schedule is, and it's Wednesday, you're going to put a crappy video out, most likely. And and one of the YouTube people that we really respect and admire, he took a call. We're not even in his group or in his brokerage. He's like, you're probably better off just not putting a video out that week if you're going to just serve up, just filler. Right. So just kind of getting a few and having a couple in backup and in queue. But yeah, definitely bunching them up and trying to just, economies of scale, just like new home construction. They might as well have a cement truck out there and do 3 or 4 lots in a day. You bunch them up and you keep your forces as close as possible. So that really gives us some breathing room.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing, I don't know if Robert would agree with this, is the a few of the other people we've had on the show talking about video. It's a bit like what both of you said. It's people from out of state, but you also do this other channel, which I was gathering is about the city, about what's going on, and that seems also to be successful. So I think what you're saying is that you can get success and it not be totally. But I think you were saying that channel, it's still most of the leads are out of state. Do you think it's useful for an agent that doesn't think that their area gets a lot of out of state, out of area? Do you think it's still worthwhile looking at video? Brent?
Amber?
100%. Video is the future. So Brett is like, get comfortable, Amber. We're doing this, because I feel like anybody can send an email. Anybody can send a text message, right? Anyone can look a certain way. But to really be out there and people really go, okay, I get who this person is, it's really compelling. I mean, there's real estate everywhere. And I would say if the market is so bad where you feel like video couldn't move a needle, maybe you need to do real estate somewhere else. I'm just being honest, right? But my slogan, I feel like, is everyone needs a home. I don't care where you are. I mean, people need to live. So be the best in that area you can be. And I think doing video is part of doing, that, being the best.
And to that, Jonathan, a lot of the social unrest and COVID in 2020, you not only had people relocating state to state, you had people wanting to move to the suburbs, and you had people wanting to move 20, 30 miles out of the city because everybody can use Zoom. Everybody, I work. I don't know how many clients Amber and I talk to that say, I go, where's your center of life going to be when you move to Houston? Like, I can live anywhere. I work from home. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. So even if you're an agent in a not so hot market, you've got to pick up on the trends locally, hyper local. Like, are people moving from this school district out here 15 or, where's new construction at? New construction, I feel, is always going to be a buzz. or I'm basing this off a couple years of, being on YouTube. But it just seems like where there's new construction, there's people searching for information. So, get the lowest hanging fruit. Don't beat yourself up. Do the stuff that is going to get you recognized. And again, be a source locally for people that, Amber took us to a botanical gardens one time, Mercer Botanical Gardens. And I was walking, and it's free. And we always like doing stuff that's free or profiling stuff that's free. It's like, even Robert, you're like, hey, use this tool. It's free. Let's go with free first. Don't spend your money, because we in real estate, we're suckers. Salespeople are the easiest people to get sold to. Amber will call me like, hey, this company called me. I'm like, I'm not taking another call. I don't care what they have.
What was a free thing, Brett? He's trying to throw me under the bus here. I
don't need my windows cleaned. Like I'm just like, I don't care. I've been getting call after call for 14 years. But the same thing, like, so Amber took us to these botanical gardens, and I'm like, I didn't know this was here, and I've lived in Houston 40 years. So even people that are local, there's still a lot of information out there that even locals won't know about. So it's a lifestyle kind of channel. I wear my shirt, my Remax shirt. People know we're real estate agents, but it's not like, hey, check out this video, buy a home from us today. It's not as salesy. It's kind of, it's reading between the lines, and everyone knows that's what we do. And that's kind of the reason we have the channel. But we try to really tour Houston and find some cool stuff that people might not know about. Yeah,
we need to wrap up the podcast part of the show, Robert, and then we'll go on for a little bit of bonus content, Rob.
Okay. So Brett and Amber, I know these answers, or at least I know it with Brett, but I don't know it with you, Amber. But if somebody was interested in researching the two of you, or perhaps like checking out your YouTube channel, guys, how let's start with you, Amber. How would they find you? How would you prefer that people look you up?
So I'm on most social media platforms under Amber Moore Homes, and my last name is Moore. But if you go to YouTube, as mentioned, our shared channel is Houston Local Guide. That's Guide. Someone thought I said Houston Local Guy one time. It's Guide, to clarify. And all of our contact information is there.
Cool. And Brett?
The most favorite place for me to send people to is homesoffortbend.com, which it's been a labor of love, and I've had a lot of help from people that a lot of the listeners probably know. And then also my personal YouTube channel is Fort Bend TX Real Estate.
Awesome. And John?
I'll just go to the Mel-Wright website, see the great websites and how we can help you, and maybe book a chat with either me or Adam. Back over to you, Rob.
Awesome. And if anybody wants to learn more about me or get some of this information that Brett's talking about in terms of how to produce video, things to do, specific instructions, go to InboundREM.com or YouTube/InboundREM, because those are the places that I am producing most of my new content, especially on YouTube. And Brett, you'll like this. I did a video not so long ago called The Top 10 Mistakes I See Real Estate Agents Make with Video. And all of that information would sound familiar, so I'm not going to say you have to go out and check it out today, but at some point you might, just for a giggle, you might want to take a look at it.
No, I think I saw that one. And you're like, he doesn't share it on social media. Why is he not?
That's not anything we're doing. Okay.
No. Well, no, I don't think so. All right. So if you two wouldn't mind, are we doing bonus content today, John?
Yes,
or
okay.
All right. So we're going to call it quits. For those of you that are still interested in catching 10 more minutes of amazing interview like material, go to YouTube/Mail-Wright, and we'll catch you there. See you the next time. Bye. 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back to the Mail-Wright.
MailChimp.
Yeah, Mail-Wright show. We're here with Amber, Brett, and Jonathan, and of course me, Robert Newman. We're talking to Brett and Amber mostly about YouTube so far. John, why don't you go ahead and serve up one of the final questions? I know there was some things that you had talked about.
Yeah, because we were discussing it, and the podcast's been taken up with video, which is really important. But one of the areas that you said you would like to talk about, Amber, is getting the right people and getting the right support around you. What are some of the key things that you think are important about that subject, Amber?
Yeah, I feel like anyone in their career needs to be supported. You don't want to feel like you're on an island by yourself. That can be very defeating. And I think it's good to have people that can motivate you and uplift you. And I do recommend, that if you don't have a mentor, to get one. But I feel very fortunate because, again, we're with the largest Remax in Texas. It just worked out for me that way. But it's awesome when I can go basically to any place. I say I could go to Antarctica, right? And people are gonna go, "Oh, Nimesh Patel, we know your broker." So there's really strength and power in that. And then also just from a day-to-day perspective, I know a lot of people work on teams now. I really hope that your team is not a toxic environment. I've heard, had people share things with me, but if you're not in the right place and you're not, given the tools that you need, the support you need, the encouragement you need, then I would say look elsewhere, because I could not be sitting in a better position. Like, I really am the luckiest girl in the world. I get to work with Brett. He's the best realtor I know, and he's taught me everything I know. And I would not have done this without him, and I would not be successful right now. I mean, I would not be sitting here right now talking about this great past year that I've had without him. So he's made all the difference in my life. And I feel like we make each other better. That's the thing, right? So that's really important. And then also just the support of family, whatever that family situation looks like for you. I mean, you need to have people that are believing in you and rooting for you, because this business is not for the faint of heart. People are like, "Oh, realtors have it so easy." They watch, the Selling Sunset or whatever. Okay, we love the shows. Yes, we're not all selling $4 million homes. Yes, we do sell multi-million dollar homes, but that's not the day in the life. Brett and I talk about this all the time. What's, going on behind the scenes is not glamorous. And we're taking those late night calls, and we don't have our weekends. And I'm not saying that to be complaining. It's just the reality of what we do. So you have to be motivated and have people around you to support you in this crazy life of real estate.
So what's been so how long have you been officially a active real estate agent? I know you said you had your license, but how long has it been?
So the end of 2020. So the
Right.
winter
Q4
of 2020, I started full time.
Well, so what have been one or two of the most difficult aspects of the acting into becoming a full-time real estate agent that you've faced?
That's a great question. So my whole life has been Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And I worked way more than that. But you know what I mean? A standard corporate job where you're like, yes, I can't wait for Friday. Now I'm like, I can't wait for Monday. It's like psychologically, I've had to rewire my brain. It's like a 180. So I don't feel like I really have any time to myself anymore. I'm just being totally honest with you. I'm like, Brett, why did I do this with you? Because, you log off in a day, whether it's 6 or 7 p.m. corporate America, you might check your phone, but it's not like you're glued to your phone, glued to your computer, like taking phone, like it's completely different. It's a complete sacrifice of yourself, so to speak. So it's just nonstop. It's every night, it's on the weekend. So that's really been the hardest thing for me. And not that my heart's not in it, because I'm passionate about putting people in homes and selling homes, and my clients are a priority, but just there's no like dividing line anymore. It's all blurred. So that's the biggest thing. And then just honestly having to look at the pipeline, right? I've been kind of in sales before, but knowing that, okay, great, I had that closing, but where is my next thing, right? Kind of having that shift of not having a salary and benefits and 401k and having a family of 6 in this crazy world, that can put some pressure on you. But I feel truly blessed. I mean, our pipeline is looking great, but it took some time to get there. It really did.
Right. So, Brent, what do you see as, do you see there being any kind of new challenges that come up in the past? I suppose really just dealing with an extremely hot market in Texas to some extent. It's been one of the biggest challenges, hasn't it?
Super, super good question, Jonathan. I think a lot of times when real estate agents are starting in any position, but there's the entry barriers to real estate are so low, you got a lot of people doing it. So I think HAR, which is the Houston Association of Realtors, that's the MLS of record in Houston. I think the memberships went from like 25 to 30,000 in 2018 or 2019 to upwards of 50 and 55,000, because everybody's cousin, aunt, uncle, mother can sell a home now, right? And we're all the same. Every real estate agent, sometimes they say fake it till you make it. Well, I mean, I even get tricked sometimes when I see other realtors Instagram reels. I'm like, oh, I know that realtor, and then I look at their production and I'm like, they sold in 2020 what I sold in 2 months or 1 month. And I'm like, I was about to sign up for their training, like, because you drive up in a Mercedes. So there's a lot, educating the market, educating people, because you have people cutting commission. You got a lot of silicone. Sorry, Robert, I'm just kidding. You got a lot of tech firms getting, you know, I mean, there's so much money being thrown at real estate, so much sexiness being thrown at real estate, where, like Amber said, you don't see us the night before going to a home with our, I mean, I don't do plumbing work. But I bring tool bags. I have multiplier. You know, I have Craftsman tools in my truck, because it sometimes comes down to me tightening a toilet. Like, I mean, like,
you had to wrap pipes at a client's home in the freezing cold at like 10 p.m. one night. And we do that.
My client just moved to Idaho, and they accidentally sent a brand new desk, a brand new hutch from Home Depot, and got it shipped to their old house, the house that I sold of theirs 2 weeks ago. So I by myself had to go pick up like these 140-pound boxes and go take them to Home Depot and return them. Because when she checked out, she paid with PayPal, and she'd put in the new address, but when PayPal took over, it sent it to the old address. The home was sold. The new homeowner's calling the other realtor, like, our whole front door is covered with boxes and they're heavy. So I went there by myself. So you know, but yeah, just the illusion is that there's a lot of people pretending to be, and the word top producing agent is so watered down that means nothing anymore. So kind of educating potential buyers and sellers without tooting your own horn, like Amber said earlier, and kind of saying like, yes, and there's also realtors doing 1% listings. I shoot that down, you know, very, very quick. And I'm like, yeah, you know, so we have kind of, Amber and I have dialogue that we practice and speak with people in a very short order. We usually get the 3% listing, or the you know, and there's kickbacks and all these. It's just, Amber and I don't ever miss an appointment. We hold hands. It's 24/7. We go to design center appointments, construction meetings, because we don't want our liability increase just to be on paper on a deal and kick back and never be present. That's just, we're full service. And there's a lot of different people out there doing different things. But quality and experience can't be, you have to educate. So that's the big thing I see, just because you can make it look like you're, you know, Josh Altman, right? Just by having a produced video and renting a car, going to the private airport nearby and posing in front of a private jet, you know, in front of
we should do that, Brett. Okay.
No, please don't, guys.
No, I don't think. Maybe for a certain, I don't know, for a certain type, but I do wonder if that. I think what people want to see is proficiency and knowledge of the market, the area, and that you get the job done, basically. I think we come to the end, Robert. I think it's time to wrap it up, Robert.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, realtors of all ages and sizes, thank you so much for tuning into the Millwright Show. We really, really appreciate it. I now, at the very last minute of the show, can say that Brett, and by extension his sister Amber, are two of my favorite people to do business with, because they are always so. You guys give me a shot in the arm, and I'm glad that everybody out there has gotten a chance to see the energy that you bring to anything that you do. And I'm glad that John got a chance to meet you, because Brett has consistently been one of my top case studies for going on 2 years. And I just want to share a funny story as we close the show out. So a long time ago, when Brett first called me, he goes, we're in the first call. And he's like, I'm going to hire you. I'm going to do this. Okay. And I'm going to be your next, like, big review client, Robert. You're going to use me. And I'm like, all right, dude, let's like get the website live and like go do that first. Right. So, and 6 months later, we have a conversation again, the site's launched. And then he's like, no, I'm going to be your model client. What do I have to do? I was really just in my head going, my God, this guy, like, But I have to admit, Brett, I really have to admit, you walked your talk times 10. As our relationship has deepened, you tend to do every single thing that I suggest. It was a little rocky. It took you a little time to get into the swing of things. And then you started doing some stuff and started seeing some success. And now pretty much every time it's like I say, hey, you should do X. You're like, all right, I'm going to do it next month. And oddly, I know it's going to get done, which is crazy because I hear this stuff like probably 50 times a month. No joke. To the two of you, no joke. 50 times a month. And you're maybe one of 2 or 3 people that's ever carried through. So,
well, I like your batting average. You're most of the stuff you tell me to do, you know, you're batting really high, man. So when you say jump, I just ask how high, man. I really appreciate all the guidance.
lovely. All right, John, is there anything that you want to close out with at the show?
It's in the show, and hopefully Amber and Brent will join us later on in the year.
Absolutely.
And we'll have another chat. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
See you guys.